You know that quiet moment when the kettle clicks off and you think you're about to sip comfort? Yeah, about that. Some everyday UK tea bags can dump billions of microscopic plastic particles into a single cup. Others hide pesticide residues and bargain bin tea dust so cheap it barely qualifies as a leaf. It's not soothing, it's sneaky, messy, and honestly, a bit grim. And the wild part? A few of the most loved brands are the worst offenders, while better options sit quietly ignored. So today I'm breaking down 5 UK tea brands to avoid at all costs and 5 that are actually safe. Subscribe before we begin. 1. Tetley, the plastic-soaked comfort lie. Tetley feels like a warm jumper. Familiar, reliable. The tea your aunt's been buying since forever. That's exactly why this one stings. For years, Tetley sealed its bags with plastic. Actual petroleum-based plastic. Drop that bag into boiling water and you're not just brewing tea, you're simmering a microscopic rubbish soup. Studies have shown that plastic-style tea bags can release billions of tiny particles into a single cup. Billions. With a B, that's not a health drink, that's a chemistry experiment you didn't sign up for. Then there's the tea itself. Tetley isn't selling lush leaves gently rolled by hand. You're getting industrial scraps, dust, the stuff left behind after better brands have taken what they want. It brews fast, sure. So does sawdust, if you grind it small enough. Add in repeated public testing that's flagged pesticide residues in mass-market teas like this, and suddenly that proper brew starts looking aggressively improper. What makes Tetley worse isn't just the plastic or the chemicals, it's the timing. Smaller brands ditched plastic years ago. Tetley dragged its feet until pressure became unbearable. By the time they started cleaning up, millions of people had already been drinking the fallout. Tetley survives on nostalgia and habit, not quality. It's a reminder that tradition doesn't mean care. Sometimes it just means nobody bothered to question it. And if this is what a century-old icon was serving up, wait till you hear about the so-called modern upgrade that came next. 2. PG Tips, the pyramid that poisoned the cup. PG Tips thought it cracked the code with the pyramid bag. It looked clever, scientific, premium. The ads were cheeky, the branding felt playful, and suddenly everyone was told this was a better brew. Here's the nasty twist. Those pyramids were made from plastic, not paper, not plant fiber. Plastic mesh sitting in near boiling water, quietly shedding microscopic junk straight into your mug. That's the part no one shouted from the rooftops. While the shape was being hyped, the material was ignored. And when independent research later showed that plastic tea bags could release staggering amounts of microplastics, PG Tips had some awkward explaining to do. Only then did the brand scramble to switch materials. Not because they wanted to lead, because they got cornered. Even now, transparency is painfully thin. You're not told much about where the tea comes from or how it's grown, just vague promises and friendly packaging. Inside, it's still broken leaves designed to brew fast and strong, not clean or complex. Strength becomes the distraction. If it hits hard, you stop asking questions. PG Tips didn't just sell tea, it sold confidence. And that confidence was built on a design choice that never should have happened in the first place. If innovation means melting plastic into your drink, you can keep it. And if you think this was a one-off mistake, the next brand will really test your faith. 3. Yorkshire Tea, Standard Blend. The proper brew that isn't. Yorkshire Tea has mastered the art of sounding trustworthy. Flat caps, straight talk, no nonsense. It feels honest before you even open the box, which is exactly why this one's uncomfortable. For years, their standard bags were sealed with plastic. Not hidden, not accidental. Just quietly there, holding everything together while millions drank along, assuming all was well. Eventually, they switched. Or sort of did. Some bags moved to plant-based materials, others didn't. Some packaging stayed plastic, some products changed, others quietly didn't. It became a maze of fine print and half steps. And here's the kicker. Those plant-based seals aren't the magic fix people think they are. Many need industrial composting to break down. Toss them in a normal bin and they behave suspiciously like plastic anyway. Then there's sourcing. Yorkshire Tea buys from massive global supply chains where pesticide use is a known problem. Yet there's no loud, proud evidence of routine, independent testing. Just reassurance. Friendly words? the same calm tone that makes people stop digging. That's the danger here. Yorkshire tea doesn't scream villain. It whispers comfort, but comfort without scrutiny is how corners stay cut. When a brand leans this hard on being proper, you expect the internals to match the promise. If this is the gold standard of everyday British tea, it raises a worrying question. What happens when prestige gets involved? Because the next name wears a crown. 4. Twinings, everyday blends. Royal branding, factory floor tea. Twinings has history on its side. Royal warrants. Gold lettering, shelves that whisper refinement. You'd expect something special inside. Instead, many of their everyday blends rely on tea dust and fannings. That's industry speak for leftovers. Tiny particles swept up after proper leaves are sorted out. They brew fast and taste bold, but complexity is gone. What remains is bitterness pretending to be strength. This is where the illusion gets ugly. You're paying a premium for packaging and legacy while drinking the lowest rung of the harvest. And it doesn't stop there. Public investigations have previously linked Twinings teas to pesticide residues, not traces from a garden mishap. Multiple chemicals detected in a single product. Yet the boxes stay elegant. The messaging stays calm. The crown stays polished. Even with newer bag materials, plastic still lingers in parts of the packaging. Progress arrives slowly when reputation is doing most of the work. Twinings knows people don't expect betrayal from a brand this old. That trust buys silence. What makes this one sting is the contrast. Twinings could afford to do better, easily. Instead, it chose margins and mass production while selling the fantasy of luxury. It's not dreadful tea because it tastes bad. It's dreadful because it masquerades as something it's not. And if you think this is as low as it gets, the final brand shows what happens when decline fully sets in. 5. Typhoo, the brand that gave up. Typhoo feels tired. You can sense it before the kettle even boils. Once a giant, now a shadow, clinging to shelf space through habit alone. The tea is weak, metallic, and forgettable. The packaging still leans heavily on plastic foil. Shiny, wasteful, and completely unnecessary in 2025. Nothing here suggests care, it suggests survival mode. There's almost no transparency about leaf quality or sourcing, no loud commitments, no clear standards. Just vague promises and a product that tastes like it was designed to offend no one while exciting absolutely nobody. That blandness hides a harsher truth. Cheap inputs, cut corners, minimal oversight. When brands stop investing, quality collapses quietly. Recent financial chaos around Typhoo tells the story better than any tasting note. Production halts, administration, uncertainty. When a company is struggling to stay alive, sustainability and safety rarely sit at the top of the priority list. You're not drinking a thoughtfully crafted blend. You're drinking the residue of a business in retreat. Typhoo isn't just bad tea, it's resigned tea. A product that exists because it always has, not because it should, and that makes it one of the easiest to walk away from. Now for the good news. Not every brand treats your mug like a dumping ground. Some actually respect it, and those are the ones we're about to talk about next. 6. Clipper, proof that clean tea isn't a fantasy. Clipper feels like a deep exhale after everything you've just heard. This is what happens when a brand actually cares. From the start, Clipper made a stubborn, almost unfashionable decision. Organic first, fair trade as standard. No shortcuts, even when shortcuts were cheaper and wildly popular. Here's the big relief moment. Clipper ditched plastic in its tea bags years ago. No sneaky petroleum seal hiding in the fibers. No mostly biodegradable nonsense. The bags are plant-based, unbleached, and compostable. Drop one in boiling water and you're brewing tea, not quietly dissolving lab-grade debris into your cup. And the leaves themselves? Grown without synthetic pesticides, sourced under fair trade standards that actually means something. This isn't a badge slapped on for vibes. It's audited, documented, and boringly responsible in the best possible way. The flavor reflects that. Clean, rounded, calm. Nothing screaming for attention because nothing needs to distract you. Clipper is what happens when transparency replaces marketing tricks. The brand doesn't need shock shapes or royal crests. It just delivers what it promises. Tea that tastes like tea and doesn't come with a side of regret. After the chaos of plastic seals and chemical cocktails, Clipper feels refreshingly dull. And in this context, dull is beautiful. It proves the problem was never tea itself. It was how recklessly some companies chose to make it. And if you think this is as good as it gets, the next brand takes that same care and turns it into something a little more intentional. 7. Pukka Herbal Tea that actually respects your body. Pukka doesn't whisper wellness. It commits to it. Loudly, carefully, almost obsessively. While other brands spray natural across boxes like perfume, Pukka builds its blends the way you'd build medicine. On purpose. With receipts. Let's start with the bag because this is where most brands mess up. Pukka uses plant fibers stitched together with organic cotton. No plastic. No glue. No mystery seal melting into your drink. You can compost the whole thing at home and feel smug about it. Now the contents. Every herb is organic, certified, grown without synthetic pesticides, and not just because it looks good on the shelf. Pukka treats herbs like they actually matter, sourcing for potency, not just flavor. That's why their teas don't taste flat or dusty. They taste alive. Even the envelopes pulling the bags out of the air are thoughtfully designed to protect the herbs without smothering them in plastic. The brand spent years refining this instead of shrugging and cutting corners. That effort shows. Pukka is what happens when a company refuses to treat tea as an afterthought. It's calm, reassuring, and quietly confident. No panic marketing, no fear tactics, just competence. After hearing about brands that treat your mug like a dumping ground, Pukka feels like a reset. A reminder that tea can still be nurturing without being naive. And if you're craving something bolder, something that shows you the leaves instead of hiding them, the next pick will hit differently. 8. Tea Pigs, when you can actually see what you're drinking. Tea Pigs doesn't believe in hiding. Not the leaves, not the materials, not the process. Their whole philosophy is simple. If it's worth drinking, you should be able to see it. Those mesh-like tea temples look suspicious at first, especially after hearing horror stories about plastic pyramids. Here's the twist. They're not plastic. They're made from cornstarch, plant-derived, biodegradable, no nylon, no polypropylene, no chemical sleight of hand. Inside, you get whole leaves. Big ones, real ones, not dust, not factory scraps pretending to be premium. You can see petals, spices, herbs, exactly as they are. That visual honesty changes how you drink tea. You slow down. You trust it. Tea Pigs isn't perfect. They'll openly admit some outer packaging still needs work. But here's the difference. They tell you. They don't bury it in fine print. They don't hope you won't ask. The taste reflects that openness. Cleaner, more layered, less aggressive. It doesn't punch you with bitterness because it doesn't need to. Strength comes from quality, not from pulverizing leaves into oblivion. Tea Pigs proves that transparency isn't a risk. It's a selling point. When brands stop hiding, trust rebuilds quickly. And if you think ethical tea has to be serious and restrained, the next brand is about to smash that idea with a wink and a grin. 9. Bird and Blend Tea Co. Playful, bold, and shockingly responsible. Bird and Blend looks like chaos at first glance. Neon colors, wild flavor names, tea that sounds like dessert. You'd expect gimmicks. Instead, you get one of the most thoughtful setups in the game. Their tea bags are made from plant-based material derived from cornstarch, fully compostable, no plastic hiding anywhere, no excuses. The brand knew that most people in the UK still brew with bags, so they fixed the bag problem instead of pretending it didn't matter. Then there's the packaging. Compostable inners, minimal waste, constant upgrades instead of settling for good enough. Bird and Blend treats sustainability like a moving target, not a finished task. The blends themselves are creative but not careless. Ingredients are ethically sourced and the company is transparent about its supply chains. This isn't novelty for novelty's sake. It's experimentation backed by responsibility. What makes Bird and Blend special is that it doesn't guilt you into caring. It makes caring feel fun. You're not lectured, you're invited. After slogging through stories of neglect and corner cutting, this brand feels rebellious in the best way. Proof that ethical choices don't have to be dull or preachy. And finally, we end somewhere unexpected. A luxury name that actually earns its place instead of coasting on history. 10. Whitted of Chelsea. When premium finally means something, Whitted has always looked expensive. For a long time, that was the whole story. Recently, they've started backing it up. The big shift happened quietly. Plastic-heavy packaging out. Compostable, plant-based materials in. Tea bags now made with biodegradable fibers. Strings and tags cleaned up. No petroleum nonsense dangling in your cup. Whitted also focuses on leaf quality. You're not buying dust dressed up in gold. Many blends lean toward whole leaves and clearer sourcing with flavor profiles that actually justify the price tag. You taste the difference immediately. It's smoother, deeper, less harsh. They've also aligned with ethical sourcing initiatives instead of pretending tradition alone was enough. That matters. It shows movement, growth, an understanding that heritage without responsibility is hollow. Whitted isn't cheap, and it shouldn't be. What you're paying for now is care, materials that won't sabotage your health, tea that wasn't rushed or shredded to oblivion. After everything we've uncovered, Whitted feels like a closing note of redemption, a reminder that brands can change, that luxury doesn't have to be wasteful, and that your daily cup doesn't need to come with hidden consequences. That's the real takeaway here. Tea should comfort you, not quietly betray you. So here's the deal. Your tea should calm you down, not dose you with plastic or mystery chemicals. Read the box. Question the hype. Pick brands that actually care. If this saved your mug, hit subscribe and share it with someone who still thinks all tea is harmless.